something to focus on me too. Jerry Forrest and Dolphins.
When accusations of secret cooperation begin flying around, people often expect a simple response: deny it and move on. Yet reality rarely works that way. The moment two parties are accused of being in league with one another, every interaction between them starts being viewed through a lens of suspicion. Agreement becomes coordination. Shared interests become conspiracy. Silence becomes evidence. Even the absence of criticism can suddenly be interpreted as proof of a hidden partnership. Faced with that problem, the accused often find themselves under pressure to create visible signs of separation. A simple denial carries little weight because words are cheap. Public disagreement, however, is costly. Criticism can strain relationships, alienate supporters, and create genuine difficulties. Because costly signals tend to appear more credible than cheap declarations, audiences are inclined to think, surely nobody would go to all this trouble if they were secretly working together. The difficulty is that this logic works whether the accusation is true or false. If two parties genuinely are independent, distancing themselves may simply be a defensive response to reputational contagion. Nobody wants to be judged by association. A politician accused of serving another faction's interests may publicly challenge that faction. A company accused of being controlled by another may go out of its way to demonstrate independence. The distancing is real because the threat is real. Yet if cooperation does exist, distancing can serve an entirely different purpose. Manufactured antagonism has long been recognized as a useful concealment strategy. Public disputes over minor matters can distract from cooperation on major ones. Symbolic opposition can create the appearance of conflict, while practical alignment continues elsewhere. Selective criticism can be deployed where it costs little while avoiding subjects that truly matter. None of this proves collusion, but it demonstrates why visible hostility cannot automatically be accepted as proof of independence. This is where things become rather amusing. The audience wants neat categories: friend or enemy, ally or rival, partner or opponent. Reality, meanwhile, delights in being messier. History is littered with people who competed and cooperated simultaneously, who traded insults in public while negotiating in private, who appeared bitterly opposed while sharing overlapping interests. The result is a double bind. Behave normally, and observers may conclude that the accusation is true. Distance yourself, and some observers may conclude that the distancing itself is suspicious. Push the separation too hard, and people begin asking why there is such desperation to prove independence in the first place. Every move becomes evidence for somebody's theory. Which brings us neatly to the agenda, and its apparent habit of finding itself engaged in a theatrical exchange with its own bollocks. One interpretation is that this is merely another example of strategic distancing. Having established one position, a convenient public quarrel emerges, which allows both sides of the argument to appear independent, despite originating from the same stable of ideas. The spectacle creates the impression of disagreement, while simultaneously keeping the conversation confined within a carefully managed frame. Manufactured outrage, after all, is often far more entertaining than genuine agreement. Another interpretation is considerably less sophisticated. Perhaps the knackers are simply trying to reverse out of an argument that has become increasingly difficult to defend. Public conflict can sometimes look less like tactical signaling and more like an awkward attempt to create distance from earlier claims that no longer withstand scrutiny. And that brings us to the awkward matter of evidence. Only a couple of weeks ago, the same bollocks reportedly deployed what was described as fact-based evidence to establish that F.O.B. was, in fact, Billy Osbum. If that conclusion rested on demonstrable facts, verifiable evidence, and sound reasoning, then naturally it should stand or fall on those merits. If, however, the diagnosis was unsupported, incorrectly reasoned, or based on no evidence whatsoever, then it raises an obvious question about the reliability of the methods being employed elsewhere. This is precisely why analysts place limited weight on public signaling alone. Distancing, criticism, denials, conflict, none of these settle the matter by themselves because both innocent and guilty parties can produce the same behavior. The real test lies in the quality of the evidence. Incentives, patterns, actions, communications, and outcomes generally reveal far more than dramatic declarations ever will. So perhaps the issue is not whether the agenda is arguing with its own bollocks. The more interesting question is whether those bollocks have earned sufficient trust to continue presenting themselves as reliable arbiters of fact after publishing conclusions that may have been diagnostically unsound from the outset. If the evidence was solid, there is nothing to retract. If it was unsupported nonsense dressed up as certainty, then perhaps a retraction would indeed be in order. Or perhaps, old boy, it was all parody from the beginning. Don't you know?
There once was a turd in a terrible mood. Simplistic, sticky lump of crude attitude. It didn't know left or right. Sat plotting all night. It threatened to plot and suddenly stopped. Like a rusty old cannon whose firing had flopped. It muttered complaints from the depths of the gut, refusing to leave its preferred little butt. Oh, the nasty little turd that won't leave your bum. I-5 won't move it no matter how much comes. It's angry and stubborn. It's sour and absurd. All hail the kingdom of the nasty little turd. Oh, the nasty little turd that won't leave your bum. I-5 won't move it no matter how much comes. It's angry and stubborn. It's sour and absurd. All hail the kingdom of the nasty little turd. It makes wine